All right, let's see what happens in the markets today. But first, yes, you're seeing less hair and you're not hearing that East Texas German accent because my name is Mark Hodge. I'm head coach at Rockwell Trading, and Marcus is on assignment. Well, actually, he's on a quick trip with his son, checking out a cool college back east. So I'm sitting in for him, but we're still going to try to cover this market update for Thursday, April 22nd in 5 minutes or less. Now, after a nice win yesterday, stocks were hammered, erasing yesterday's gains. Let's take a look at the major indices, see where things finished up here. The S&P 500 down 0.9%, Dow down just under 1%, the Nasdaq down 1.2%. I said hammered, which might be a little bit of an overstatement, but this feeling came from this drop that happened during the day. Let's look at the S&P and let's go to a 5-minute chart. I mean, there was a slightly lower open, drift lower, and then stocks were rallying. Stocks were at session highs, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this big drop here. The S&P slid almost 50 points and finished lower by 0.9%. So why the sharp decline that came around 1 p.m.? Well, it was because of reports that President Joe Biden is set to propose a capital gains tax hike that could be as high as 39.6% for the wealthy. Now, according to Bloomberg News, the proposal would essentially double the capital gains tax rate on people that earn over $1 million. And as you probably heard from Marcus, the markets and traders are just trying to grab hold of something, some type of news. And today, the flavor of the day was capital gains. Traders didn't like it, and it sent stocks lower. Now, some growth stocks took a hit because of the news. Let's take a look at Tesla as an example. Tesla actually opened slightly lower and then was sitting at highs of the day before the drop, finishing the day lower at down 3.3%. Amazon, another one hit after the news. AMZN is the ticker, actually opening higher for the day, dropping and finishing near session lows, down 1.6%. Now, there was actually some decent news in the morning. Unemployment claims released at 8:30 Eastern, an hour before markets open, came in better than expected. 547,000 Americans last week filed for unemployment. Now, this is a crazy number historically, but since the pandemic began, this is actually a low number for us, and it was lower than the forecast of 607,000, also lower than last week's beat, which was 586,000 claims. So this was actually positive news, but that capital gains news in the afternoon really offset this, and the reaction was rather minor to begin with. Now, earnings remain in focus, and let's take a look at a few companies that reported. Dow Chemical, the ticker DOW. Now, Dow Chemical actually reported better than expected earnings and revenue for the first quarter, but they ended the day with a 6% loss. We could also take a look at Southwest Airlines, the ticker LUV, and Southwest reported mixed earnings results. The company said that they had a $116 million profit last quarter, but it would have been a $1 billion loss if it hadn't been for federal government aid. The CEO is optimistic about the airline recovery and says that they are looking at breaking even by June. So traders actually thought this was good news early on. The stock opened higher and traded higher before falling, ending the day with a 1.6% loss. Another company reporting earnings, and this time a huge move higher, was Equifax, the ticker EFX. Now, the stock jumped higher and closed actually with a 14.9% gain. So big move for EFX. They beat earnings expectations and rocketed higher after reporting its highest ever quarterly revenue. So a nice big move for Equifax. Now, looking at the calendar tomorrow, really nothing to really move the markets. There is flash manufacturing PMI at 945, but not a whole lot going on here. Earnings will continue to be the focus, and we have a few bigger names here. Honeywell reporting before the open, American Express reporting before the open, Kimberly-Clark, and also Schlumberger reporting before the open. Then next week, the focus again is going to be on earnings. Big week for earnings, and that will definitely be the spotlight, or in the spotlight, for traders. So this wraps up today's stock market news in 5 minutes or less, and it took us just a couple of ticks past 5 minutes. Now, keep in mind, trade what you see, not what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, everybody.